Oh, Heffernan did adjourn this afternoon.
Oh, I see you've talked to Colin, or the agent.
You're good to go.
Welcome to the Conservation Board meeting of Southampton Town for October 8th, 2025. I would invite everyone to rise for the salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I always got to say it in Latin. I always had my students do it in Latin.
Oh, I would flunk your class.
What is your pleasure on the minutes of September 24th, 2025? We'll skip September 10th because you don't have the right people here to approve them.
Move to adopt them as written.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Were you here at that meeting? It's September 24th?
I was not here at the last meeting. That wasn't, was that the last meeting?
Oh, you know what? We can't do that.
No, we can't. We're doing very well tonight.
Send that.
Yeah.
All right. We have the votes to rescind it. We don't have the votes to. All right. Is there a motion to rescind that previous vote of accepting the minutes of September 24th?
So
So
move.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're gonna wait on all of the minutes till we get more and/or different people here. And we're gonna skip the public hearings for now and move to the advisory reports. Planning Board. Mark Saladino.
The second hearing is being adjourned at the
Okay, well, we,
applicant's request.
okay. We can adjourn that. For the public hearings, this is, you got affidavits for this? It's been open?
Yeah, it has been open, but it was just adjourned.
Okay. A024077 Colin Heffron, this is applicant requests adjournment to October 22nd, 2025. Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn to October 22nd, 2025.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Advisory reports for the planning board, Mark Saladino subdivision application.
Good evening, Marty Shea, Chief Environmental Analyst for the town. This is a subdivision application for a tract that's located at Fanning Avenue in the Hamlet and Hampton Bays. It's a planned two-lot residential subdivision. There are two recommended advisory comments. First is that, based upon an Environment Division field assessment completed on July 22nd, 2025, the tract, most notably proposed Lot 2, contains forested land of significant value in terms of carbon sequestration, air and water purification, thermal cooling, scenic quality, and as habitat for native plants, insects, and wildlife. The woodlands also act as a clean recharge area, a natural watershed for the underlying water table in the Shinnecock Bay. Thus, these remnant woods warrant protection to the maximum extent practicable. And second, to lessen tree cutting and to guard against contamination of surface and groundwaters in a manner consistent with the town's Aquifer Protection Overlay District standards. Clearing of proposed Lot 2 should be restricted to 60% of the lot area.
Motion to send those comments to the planning board.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? 173 Norris LLC.
It's a residential subdivision that's in its final phase. There are two recommended comments. First is that The Conservation Board is supportive of the required planting of large native street trees. As such, remedial measures will aid in repairing the environmental damage caused by the unauthorized tree cutting, which occurred prior to filing of the subdivision application. And second, the board also endorsed the use of pervious materials for driveway construction in the planned installation of subsurface drainage as detailed on the final subdivision map, as such actions will help to abate stormwater runoff.
Motion to send those comments to the planning board?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
For the ZBA, Emily Brandt and Eric Petra.
This application relates to residentially developed property at 24 Dock Road in the hamlet of Remsenburg, Spionk. There are several advisory comments which are being recommended. The first indicates that notwithstanding the adjacency of 17 acres of town preserved land, there are no significant environmental concerns related to the variances which are being sought for the historic house and barn. And second, based upon an October 2nd, 2025 Environment Division site assessment, there are no town-regulated wetlands within 200 feet of these structures. And thirdly, a letter of wetland non-jurisdiction was already issued for the barn interior conversion to living space on February 17, 2023.
Move to send those comments to the zoning board of appeals?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Todd Newfield and Michelle Newfield.
Relates to a property that is undergoing residential redevelopment pursuant to Conservation Board approvals. The first recommended advisory comment indicates that on September 24, 2024, 25, the Conservation Board had conditionally approved the modified wetland permit to relocate the previously permitted new single-family residence, as shown on the survey as prepared by Paul Barilski, dated May 21, 2024, with a latest revision date, May 13, 2025, which was filed with the variance application to the north and east, located at its close point, 54.7 feet landward of wetlands, as depicted on an updated survey with a final revision date of September 9, 2025. And second, based upon the information provided by the applicant, the modified approval is consistent with the recent recommendations of the zoning board, which asks that the proposed new dwelling and swimming pool be repositioned further north and east as a means of lessening the needed dimensional relief from the south property line and providing an enhanced buffer for the abutting lot owner.
Motion to send these comments to the zoning board of appeals?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? UNA Riverhead Realty LLC.
This pending variance application relates to commercially developed property at the traffic circle in Riverside. There are two suggested comments. The first is that based upon an October 6, 2025 Environment Division field assessment, the signage for which a variance is being sought is located greater than 200 feet landward of the nearest town regulated wetlands along the Peconic River. As such, a town wetland permit is not required. And second, there are no significant environmental concerns related to this application.
Motion to send these comments to the zoning board of appeals?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Malcolm Merrick.
This pending variance application before the zoning board relates to property at 385 Oak Avenue in the hamlet of Flanders. There are two recommended advisory comments. First indicates that Notwithstanding the proximity of town and state regulated freshwater wetlands, no wetland permit is needed for the planned residential basement conversion to accessory apartment. And second, there are no significant environmental concerns related to this application.
Motion to send these comments to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Board of Trustees,
Trustees reported. I can speak to the application nonetheless. There is a drafted advisory report for the property, which is located at 2 Edgemere Drive in the hamlet of North Sea. The advisory referral from the Board of Trustees indicates that the applicant is seeking a trustee's permit in order to construct an elevated catwalk and dock. The catwalk and dock would be built with light penetrable decking and be supported by untreated posts, and would be positioned so that it would be routed through a small band of Phragmites marsh with no real anticipated impacts in terms of the existing intertidal marsh. So the advisory report is supportive of the proposed catwalk and dock. It indicates that the structures would be built in a manner that's consistent with the environmental standards required by this board. And it also indicates that no significant adverse impacts to wetlands are anticipated due to the elevation of the structure and its routing through Phragmites marsh.
is there a motion to send these comments to the Board of Trustees?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The administrative wetland permits are in your packets. Resolution of conditional approval, A025021, Mark Charbonneau and Donna Charbonneau. Any discussion?
Notation?
Second.
No, wait a second.
Wait.
They want to, they request postponement to October 22nd. Is there a motion to
Oh,
postpone?
sorry about that.
And process of revising the buffer plan.
Okay.
Move to postpone.
Motion to postpone to October 22nd.
It's been moved, it's been, Leslie moved, and you're seconding?
Sorry, I jumped in there, George.
Leslie made the motion, so do you want to second?
I'll give you a second, sure.
Resolve that a conditional wetland permit approval granted to, no, we're not doing that, we're doing this. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And now, A025032, Andrew Cracked and Sarah Hexter. Any discussion?
Move to issue.
Second.
Resolve that a conditional wetland permit approval be granted to Andrew Cracked and Sarah Hexter for the proposed project about the terms and conditions of forth therein. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm curious if
Eliminate-
there's anybody on the Zoom. Can we check on that?
If anybody's on Zoom at any of these times, please let us know.
There's no one on Zoom.
It's so infrequent that it's rather safe to assume there's not unless.
Okay.
Yeah, just speak up
They can still
forcefully
watch it on TV.
if you
though.
see something going on. Okay, preliminary review of secret determination, A025027, Eileen Segro.
This new application relates to a residentially developed property at 145 Lynn Avenue in Hampton Bays, with frontage on the Shinnecock Bay. There is a preliminary advisory report on file dated October 7, 2025. The applicant is seeking a permit from this board in order to rectify and restore non-compliant required covenanted wetland non-disturbance, non-fertilization buffer as an administrative wetland permit that I had issued in years past to allow for the development of the property was conditioned upon creation of that buffer. That buffer has since been adversely impacted by unauthorized tree cutting, unauthorized clearing, unauthorized landscaping, and unauthorized construction of an elevated waterside deck and steps. The applicant is also seeking approval from this board to stabilize and reclaim the eroded Bay Bluff face by constructing 97 linear feet of stone revetment with 2 separate 8 feet long returns. The existing pool patio also needs to be legalized together with a low stone boulder wall. The advisory report on record asks the applicant to evaluate practicable alternatives. This is an application for which significant additional information is needed to make a determination. There is also likely to be public interest in the application. As such, I'm recommending that a public hearing be held.
Motion to schedule a public hearing.
Second.
Resolved that the Town Conservation Board hereby schedules the public hearing for November 19, 2025, and that notice of public hearing be published in the Town Designated Newspaper of Person to Chapter 325, Section 325-8C of the Town Code. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? A 025028, John F. Wallace III.
This application relates to a residentially developed property in the private community of Cold Spring Pond. Property has frontage on a dredge channel that flows into the greater Cold Spring Pond ecosystem. There is a preliminary advisory report on file dated September 29, 2025. In completing the work that was previously authorized by Conservation Board permit, there were some minor changes made to the hardscape, inclusive of portions of a concrete block stacked low retaining wall, which encroaches slightly within a required covenanted buffer. There are similar small encroachments as a consequence of the pool patio construction. The landowner was seeking to close out the Conservation Board permit when they found that they needed to get any changes to the site legalized and addressed by this board. Thus the reason for this application. As the original permit has now since expired, they are also asking that this board reauthorize those improvements that were permitted pursuant to expired Conservation Board wetland permit number 13-00007. There were also a couple other minor modifications that were made, inclusive of installation of a concrete plat under the hot tub, installation of an outdoor shower, and reconfigured fencing. What the applicant has offered as an alternative to removal of the hardscape that's encroaching within the buffer to establish new additional covenanted buffers on property that are currently in a natural state and are well contiguous with the larger buffer. In visiting the property, it does make sense to go that route rather than request that the encroachments be removed. I have asked that some invasive silvergrass be removed from the buffer as part of the reconfiguration of the buffer, which the applicant is amenable to. I support the amendments to the covenant, which, if also supported by this board, would have to be approved by a majority plus one vote. So the survey is good, but the applicant will have to draft an amended covenant. So as the applicant is amenable to the recommended mitigative measures, and my office is supportive of this application, we do have sufficient information to make a determination. As such, recommending that the public hearing requirement be waived.
Move to waive the public hearing.
Second.
Resolved that the Town Conservation Board hereby waives the public hearing requirement pursuant to Chapter 325, Section 325-80 of the Town Code. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? A 025030, Oaktown LLC.
This application relates to an existing bulkheaded property, which is frontage on the Little Peconic Bay. There is a preliminary advisory report on file dated October 6, 2025. Property is located at Peconic Avenue in the hamlet of Noyak. The existing timber bulkhead that the applicant is seeking to replace is deteriorating, so that needs to be rectified and addressed. The bulkhead is positioned between other residential bulkheads and actually a long continuum of bulkheaded bay frontage. The bulkheads are quite high, so that there is a big vertical separation between the land behind the bulkhead and the open waters, which run right up to the face of the bulkhead. So there is really little or no opportunity at this time to come forward with a more naturalized shore restoration plan. The only viable solution in the short term is to replace the existing wood bulkhead with a vinyl bulkhead. I have simply asked that the height of that bulkhead not exceed the height of the existing abutting bulkhead to the north. I have also provided a drawing showing recommended naturally vegetated buffer that would take in the sloping bluff face, landward of the bulkhead, and also extend landward of the bluff crest in order to ensure that that bluff crest is well stabilized. While much of that area is well vegetated with indigenous cover, there are some invasive plants that I asked be removed and replaced with natives as chosen from a native seaside suitable plant list that I provided to the applicant. You will note that within the recommended buffer. There are some pre-existing non-conforming structures. There is a small deck area, a shed. There are stepped, a couple stepped low wood tie retaining walls that appear to have been installed without permits. I indicated to the landowner that I have no issue with the landowner retaining the pre-existing legal structures, but if they have to be partially, if the decks have to be partially lifted up in order to install the bulkhead, I asked that the new decks be built with untreated wood. I also, as I have some concern that if the wood tie walls within the face of the bluff, if they're removed, they may result in some bluff instability. I simply ask that the applicant commit to not reconstructing those ties in the future. And it appears that the applicant is amenable to all of the recommended wetland impact mitigative measures, and will come forward with the necessary drawings and draft covenant. As such, we have sufficient information to make a determination on this application. Accordingly, I'm recommending that the public hearing requirement be waived.
Motion to waive the public hearing?
Second?
Resolved that the Town Conservation Board hereby waives the public hearing requirement pursuant to Chapter 325, Section 325-8 of the Town Code. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? A 025033, Gregory S. Little, and the applicant requests postponement to October 22nd, 2025.
Motion to postpone to October 22nd, 2025.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Going back to the public hearings, A 024038, 37 East Shore Drive LLC. It appears that this was an error and is not scheduled for tonight, but rather scheduled for November 5th.
It is scheduled for tonight, but Daphne requested an adjournment. So she's requesting an adjournment.
Oh, we did schedule for tonight,
It is scheduled for tonight.
even though she requested it November 5th.
It's up to the document.
So then, let's us adjourn it till November 5th.
There are 4 reasons, just so you're aware. November
1,
5th,
2.
there are 3
Troy is on that night.
November 5th already, so.
We good?
Well, let's look at those. Robbins, Tempesta, and Lynn Prue. We don't know who's gonna,
On first?
Tempesta is most likely gonna show up because, is that an involved one?
That is an application which requests approval to redevelop residential property south of the Gallagher and Catawba property. They also want to build a stone revetment. And
Okay.
I've asked that practicable alternatives be explored.
Okay,
I anticipate the applicant coming forward appearing at that
Okay.
hearing date.
19th?
And the consultant for Tempesta is the same consultant as for Lynn Prue. And Robbins is the other revetment that's proposed along a second residential developed property at East Beach, East Shore Drive.
what's interesting is there's a commonality in all of these, but we have to take them independently.
Organizational.
You know, we have a have a lighter night, November 19th. We just have the new hearing, and as the applicant has not responded to email communications that I've sent as recently as September 24th. I don't know if the applicant's going to appear that night. They may request an adjournment. But if they do appear, it's going to be a lengthy hearing.
The 19th.
That's on the 19th, but we could put a second hearing on, sure. I'm sure that Lynn Prue is going to come forward. And I'm sure that right now, so I think all three of those scheduled hearings for the 5th. I don't believe any of them are going to be adjourned. That would stack you with 4 hearings if we shift 37 East Shore Drive to that night. I would recommend at the very least that you adjourn it to November 19th.
That does not work for Daphne.
Well, then
December 3rd?
we're looking at potentially December 3rd, which is open. Yeah, the minutes does confirm that 37 East Shore Drive was adjourned to tonight.
She really wants 11.5. Now,
I'm sorry, she wants to go on the
she
22nd.
she does want 11.5. Now, what I'm thinking is that all of these are in the same general locale. They're all looking for similar things, that is, some hardened shore structure. Our analysis so far on all of these has been fairly similar. I don't know why we have to testify for half an hour and repeat the same thing 4 times.
Well, the Tempesta is a new hearing.
I understand that. And we have to address all the concerns. But there's going to be some repetition on each of these. And our approach is about the same on each of them, looking for alternatives to the rock revetment. And they all know that. Daphne did request this back a few weeks ago. And
Oftentimes applicants don't get the hearing date they request, and they understand that. And they wait for a confirmation of whether or not.
Was she
get
notified?
Adjournment, or whether or not we have to put her on another date.
Was she notified of the change in date?
She was here when you voted on the adjournment.
That was the last meeting, in the minutes says that that was requested. I don't think they were present on the 24th. I don't think she was present on the 24th.
She may
sent a-
have,
she
she
sent
may
a
have
letter-
other people showing up at that
She sent a letter in.
time. It might be
What?
difficult.
She sent a letter in requesting that date.
Yeah, I know, but you guys considered that and you voted on it. So you don't automatically get what you're requesting. You know, it's the call of the board as to what date a hearing is going to be
Or
adjourned.
if you think you can be direct with all the applicants, then we should have a quick meeting, except for the
Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying it's quick, but,
not quick,
but-
It's going to be a
but I,
lengthy night.
but I don't see any point in Marty giving his testimony for half an hour and the exact same testimony for each of them.
I agree.
So if Marty gives it after everybody goes, that cuts out a lot of time.
Uh,
Unless there's something different
Yeah,
in the applications.
I mean, the conditions and the site conditions are variable, and the plans for each site are variable. You know, in the case of Tempesta, we're looking at a brand-new building of a brand-new residence, elevator on pylons.
What's that address of that property? Is that also on East Shore Drive?
No.
It's just that it's the armored shore that's at issue for all four of them. Two of them are on East Shore Drive.
Yes, Robbins and 37 on. My recommendation is that you adjourn it to November 19th or December 3rd. It's just,
Daphne's position is no one notified her of the change. She requested 11:05.
but she's saying she wasn't notified of the change,
She said,
but she was present when you voted on when to adjourn it.
Yeah, but that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about when she presented herself for an adjournment, there was no response.
Well, there was a response. You had to indicate what date you wanted to adjourn the hearing to that night, correct?
Yes. But then she put in for a postponement, is what I'm talking about, so she didn't hear anything back about the postponement. I mean, do you usually?
So after the last hearing, she requested an additional adjournment?
She requested it September 23rd.
I have 4 hearings on difficult projects in one night.
Why are you so sure
This is difficult.
that
It's
Lynn
gonna be a
Brew is
rough
going
night.
to show up when you see all these 23 adjournments?
the minute says she requested adjournment for October 8th.
Well, you decided it would be adjourned October 8th, right?
So that's why we're on now, and she submitted an adjournment request, which we're deciding on November 11th.
It doesn't look like she was present at our last meeting. Because it does not, there's nothing here that indicates that there was a
I'm not
discussion.
saying at the last meeting, I'm saying the last time you had, maybe I'm wrong, but the last time you held the hearing on the application, she was present, correct?
August
And that's
13th.
when you
August 13th was the last
set
hearing
the
on
adjournment
37 East Shore. but the minutes, Marty, say that we voted on the adjournment at the September 24th meeting. So
Right,
she
she
must have been
requested-
scheduled for the September 24th and then asked for it to be adjourned again.
So today, but then she after that, she sent in another letter, I
Oh, I see.
assume, and asked for a further adjournment.
So let's put the 4 hearings on and we'll deal with it.
Yeah, I think Robbins and Daphne should probably be heard together. They're,
There
right,
was some talk about putting them together
yeah.
back a while
That's
ago.
probably what she
They
wants.
were together on the 13th of August, according to my,
You can always give them a time limit too, if everyone shows up, say you have this much time, otherwise we have to adjourn it to the next meeting.
Well,
go.
the difficulty with that, of course, is that, you know, we're looking at potential litigation, so
We also can avoid working out details and say, this is what we requested, and come up with it, and we'll evaluate it, and then either do more or accept what she comes up with. We don't, sometimes we go back and forth in a lot of arguments, a lot of repetition. We don't need to do that.
no.
And part of that falls on me to cut it short when it's repeating.
That's what I'm saying, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself for that meeting.
Yeah, well, let's do it, because I'm not gonna be here that meeting anyway.
I knew he'd say that. All right, we're going to make a motion. Do we need to make a motion?
Do.
All right. On the public hearing A024038, we are postponing it till November the 5th, or we're adjourning it to the November the 5th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
And now, executive session.
Well, as you have no further business, you can adjourn first and state that. And then-
Yeah. Is there a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of litigation and immediately adjourn as we come out of executive session?
So moved.
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Okay, everybody has to get out.